You want to turn her on? You don't want to work out? Don't worry, 10 fragrances that'll turn her on.
Here's some codes to save you some cash on your next Middle Eastern, niche, or designer fragrances.
My name's Neeb, welcome back to AROMATIX. Let's talk about 10 fragrances that I would rock to turn her on. Who is she, you might ask? Well, aside from Dumbellina, probably nobody, but the only girl that I have is the gym, and I'm extremely committed. So if you're not committed to the gym, then you should probably consider making that commitment first. So for those of you that just picked up the Twinkie or the popcorn while watching this video, put that sucker down and get your ass to the gym. But aside from working out and protein shakes, smelling good can definitely help. So you already work out, you're drinking your protein and all that good, you really don't need these. I don't need enough. And you're looking to smell good, specifically while you're trying to Netflix and chill, you should consider trying one of these fragrances out. These are 10 fragrances that I would personally rock to turn her on. So let's talk about the first fragrance, and this is an affordable version of one of the best men's fragrances of all time, Spice Bomb Extreme, except this is a more affordable version that smells pretty damn close. This is called Eau de Spice by Marc and Victor. So Eau de Spice Extreme is by Fragrance World, man. It's by Fragrance World. It gives me about 6 hours, and that's just enough time to seal the deal. And if you don't seal it in 6 hours, then you should probably spend more time in the gym or you're helpless. Most of these fragrances will have something in common. They're gonna be sexy, seductive, sweet, warm, inviting, ambery type of fragrances. And that's gonna lead me into the next fragrance, which is pretty sexy, seductive, and also alluring. This fragrance is a Dior Homme Intense inspiration, and you might ask, why didn't I put the original in the video? Because I genuinely believe that if anything you see me pull up is either just as good, if not better than the original. And this is the case with this fragrance right here. It's just as good, if not better than the newest formulations and batches of Dior Homme Intense. Granted, I do have an older formulation of DHI, and this is not better than the older formulations, but when you're comparing it to the newer ones, they don't last as much, and it's not nearly as thick, actually fatty, as some of the older formulations. And for that reason, Kayaan Classic, the best DHI inspiration as of today. Spice Bomb Extreme, it is worth picking up the original, but if you're on a budget, you're gonna go with this one. I didn't want to discriminate, so I thought of a couple of fragrances that I would genuinely wear. I would genuinely wear this. Spice Bomb Extreme you can find on discounters for anywhere from $90 to $120, and at that price range it might be worth it, but if you don't have the budget for it, then Eau de Spice Extreme is still worth it as well. So either one will work in this scenario. If there is a fragrance that can serve as a direct replacement, I'll let you know, just as I believe Kayaan Classic to be. So the next fragrance that I personally would recommend serves, in my opinion, as a direct replacement of 1 Million Elixir. It's got this 1 Million DNA that's a lot more grown up, sexier, more seductive. It's got amber woods in it. It makes it much sexier, in my opinion. And it also does have the note of rose. With the original, the rose is emphasized a little bit more, and you can really sense the floral aspect in the mid. This one, however, it's called Alry by Fragrance World, or Atur al-Alam, is pretty much that DNA, except it's sweeter, it's denser, and for that reason, to me, it's sexier. It does away with that emphasis on the rose, and it's a better fragrance. Don't hate the player, hate the game. That's just my honest opinion. Next fragrance that I think is absolutely gorgeous, and this is a pricier fragrance. I would have served you guys another dupe or clone or, budget-friendly fragrance, but this one I don't believe can be done on a budget because of the raw ingredients and the materials that's used in this. You can absolutely sense the quality, and there are plenty of fragrances that you can sense the quality that just cannot be cloned or replaced by a budget-friendly fragrance. It's just not possible, and that's the case with Vertus Vanilla Oud. Vertus Vanilla Oud is the saffron, vanilla, and oud bomb. This is so freaking sexy if you like oud fragrances. If you do, gorgeous stuff. Women and gentlemen can rock this. I find this to be a little bit better on men. Head turning. I've gotten so many compliments while rocking this. This is a part of my top 5 favorite fragrances of all time. But since we are on that topic, and I like that vanilla oud combination, this is a fragrance from Ahmed Al-Maghribi that's in a similar family or category of fragrances, but it's not nearly as emphasized with the vanilla. It does, however, have some kind of sweetness, but it's more of that saffron and oud combination. It is called Mozoon. Very funky and weird looking bottle, weird shape. It literally, yeah, I don't know how I feel about the bottle, who cares? But the scent smells really nice. It smells like a more censored version of something like Vanilla Oud. Vanilla Oud has double the dose of the vanilla, which makes it so damn sexy. but this kind of just tickles the base. And I'm almost positive that with vanilla oud, she'll tickle yours. Next fragrance is a hidden gem. Not many people talk, well, nobody talks about this, and it's from Qissa Perfumes, and it's called Awal Hikayetna. Awal Hikayetna is a collaborative fragrance with Abdul Majid Abdullah. Abdul Majid Abdullah is a very famous Middle Eastern singer, and they collaborated and made this fragrance right here. This is very unusual. It's very different of a DNA to the Western population. A fragrance that I've introduced on this channel was Imperial Valley by Qissa Perfumes. It's basically this super rich, creamy leather and musk fragrance. This, it's in that same vein, but a lot more upscaled, a lot more versatile, and just done in a much better way. This takes that leather musk, adds some aromatic facets, and makes it more watery, more juicy, very strange, but extremely smooth. So if you took Imperial Valley and you really niched it out or upped it in quality, you'd end up with this fragrance. It is a small bottle, and compared to the, the Grand Collection, this is the luxury collection. It does cost a little bit more, but man, the scent profile of this is amazing. Super creamy and refined, aromatic, watery leather and musk. It's really good. And I've gotten a lot of attention while rocking this fragrance, and I honestly was surprised at how much attention I was getting. Legitimately, anybody I knew was saying how good I smell. So yeah, it does cost a pretty penny, but the ladies loved it. So I'm gonna mention 2, but we're gonna group them as 1. So an 11 list really, but we're gonna just call it 10. And the reason that I'm gonna group these 2 together is because it's from a relatively newer brand, at least to me, my discovery, and it's RAIEE, okay? So one of these fragrances, it's hate it or love it for a lot of women. Some women absolutely love this scent profile and DNA, the ones that like more mature and classical, fragrances. And really all of this is subjective. What you find sexy, I might not, and the other way around. But this fragrance, I genuinely believe to be sexy. I don't know if I'd necessarily wear this to turn her on, but some women are turned on by the Creed Aventus DNA. And for that, this is one of the most enjoyable ones for me at the time of making this video, because of the fact that it has the birch, it also has the pineapple and the smoky nuances, but it's not abrasive by any means. It's not that Club de Nuit lemon pledge rather than pineapple, and this is RAIEE's Imperia. So what I think is enhanced in this is the wet woods. I believe that it's like this Hachivat and Creed Aventus blend. So it's got the best aspects of a fruity batch along with just enough of that smoky birch to really make this sexy, and it's all covered in like this musky vanilla envelope. So a really good fragrance, a really good take on that entire DNA. This was one that was a compliment getter for sure. This will probably appeal to ladies that have higher taste or higher class taste. So women that have more luxury taste for things, that's what the kind of scent profile this is. It smells like money, like old money. It's not really a youthful or sexy date night type of fragrance, but it is a turn on for a lot of women. The next fragrance from RAIEE, I find this one to be leather centric. This is very in your face about the leather, and it reminds me a lot of like Memo Paris Russian leather. Creamy, super creamy sandalwood and leather is what this is all about, and it's called Cordova. You're gonna smell like $1,000,000. It smells like just this super polished and refined. It's like this sleeve that's on here, leather, with just the right amount of these dry woods. So super dry woods and leather is exactly what this is. And for those ladies that like these more sophisticated, upscaled leather fragrances, or just upscaled fragrances in general, this will be a turn on in the realm of leather fragrances. It doesn't have anything sweet per se, and it's not gonna appeal to the women that like sweet fragrances, but if you like a more upscaled and more grown taste, that's what these are going to be, a more grown audience as far as the whole turn on factor. Next one is a turn on as well. It's actually in the similar family of like vanilla oud, except it doesn't do vanilla, it does sugar instead. And this is called Noir d'Arabi by Pandora Sense. Now, I didn't present Montal's Arabian's Tonka because I like this one a little bit more. And the reason that I didn't is because that one is pretty strong. Now, there's nothing wrong with strong fragrances. You guys know I'm team overspray, we don't play. But this is, although it's a clone, and most clones usually are less refined or not as potent, and that's the case with this. But if I tell you guys it actually did it a favor, that's exactly what the case is with here. It did it a favor. It toned down the harshness that a lot of Montal fragrances are known for, which I genuinely don't believe them to be too harsh, but with this scent profile, because of the saffron and all of that, it can be a little harsh. This one reserves it. It's sugar, it's saffron, and it's oud. Sexy stuff. This will turn her on. Pandora Sense Noir d'Arabi. They knocked it out of the park. There is one more company that has another dupe of this, and I think it might be a little stronger, but I've yet to get it. It's on the way, so stay tuned. But in general, that whole Arabian's Tonka DNA is pretty sexy. It's in that same family as Initio's Oud for Greatness and all of that saffron oud rose and Vertus vanilla oud and that family of fragrances. The next one is going to be a relatively new. This is a sleeper that not many people know about, and at the time of making this video, it's extremely hard to find. But when I tell you this brand has some freaking fragrances that just come out of nowhere. And this is from Grandeur, and it's called Iconic Nuit. Iconic Nuit is one of the strongest interpretations of YSL La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. This stuff is exactly that. It's YSL Bleu Electrique, and it's such a good interpretation and very dang strong. So if you're looking for that cardamom, sexy, mysterious vibe and the Bleu Electrique, you have to find it on eBay for God knows how much. I would much rather suggest you check out Grandeur's Iconic Nuit Pour Homme. Sexy stuff. Such a compliment getter. Lastly on this list is gonna be another hidden gem. You guys know how we do it. I love discovering new fragrances, especially when they perform and when the scent profile just exceeds the price point. This is another one with that exact same scenario, and it's called Sincerity Pour Homme by Grandeur. Grandeur is doing a lot of big things, and I am going to make it a mission to discover a lot more of their fragrances. And I was very excited to go out to the Dubai convention and find a lot of fragrances by Grandeur, by just a bunch of fragrance brands, and actually sitting there and being able to compare it and sniff it to other brands that people know about and don't know about. There's a whole world of fragrances that you guys will see very soon. So if you're interested in that, make sure to hit the like and subscribe. If I was on a mission to turn her on, these are one of the 10 fragrances that I would go for. 1 out of the 10 of the very many fragrances that I own of 1,700 plus. Yeah, if you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and until the next one, peace.